Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're cracking the code on one of the most important concepts in business, pricing. Get it right and you can unlock incredible growth. But get it wrong, well, that can be a total disaster.
And this isn't just some problem you find in a textbook. It's a high-stakes puzzle that every single business, from the corner cafe to a global corporation, has to solve.
You know, it seems like a pretty simple question, right? But the answer, the one that actually makes you more money, can be completely counterintuitive.
To really see how tricky this can be, let's look at a real-world example. A huge company made a massive bet on this exact question, and the results were, well, pretty shocking. So, they made a really bold move. They decided to cut the price of their cigarettes by a whopping 18%. The thinking was pretty simple. Lower prices should bring in a ton of new customers. And at first glance, it looked like it worked. Sales volume shot up by a very healthy 12.5%. More sales, more customers. That's great news, isn't it? Well, not so fast. Because even with all those new sales, their profits absolutely cratered, dropping by 25%. So what happened? How can selling more of something lead to less profit? Well, this is where our mystery begins, and the key to solving it is a concept called demand elasticity. So what is this powerful idea that can make or break a pricing strategy? Let's dive into the secret weapon of smart pricing. In the simplest terms, demand elasticity is just a number, but it's a really important number that tells you exactly how much your customers' buying habits are going to change when you change your price. It basically takes the guesswork out of the equation.
To make this really intuitive, let's use an analogy. Think of your customer demand like a rubber band. Is it super stretchy, where a tiny little pull creates a huge stretch? Or is it more like a brick, where you can pull and it barely moves at all?
Now, economists don't just say demand is stretchy or not stretchy. They've actually classified it into 3 distinct categories, and understanding which one your product falls into is everything.
So on one hand, you've got elastic demand. This is your super stretchy rubber band. A small change in price leads to a huge change in how much people buy. Think about things with lots of alternatives, like movie tickets or flights. But on the other side, you've got inelastic demand. That's your brick. You can change the price a lot and people's buying habits barely budge. Think of necessities like gasoline or salt. And here's how we measure it with that number we talked about. If the elasticity value is greater than 1, we officially call that demand elastic. And if the value is less than 1, you guessed it, demand is inelastic. And what happens if it's exactly 1? Well, that's called unitary elastic. It's a perfect, but pretty rare balance point.
Okay, so this is the crucial part. This is the aha moment. How do these states of elasticity, the rubber band or the brick, directly impact your total revenue?
This chart shows it all perfectly. As the price goes down along that demand curve, you can see the total revenue goes up, hits a peak, and then actually starts to fall. That peak is the sweet spot, the point of unitary elasticity, and it's where revenue is maximized.
So let's break that down. If demand for your product is elastic, remember the stretchy rubber band, then price and revenue move in opposite directions. So if you cut your price, the huge increase in sales more than makes up for it, and your total revenue goes up.
But, and this is the big one, if your demand is inelastic, like that brick, it's the exact opposite. Price and revenue move in the same direction. So if you cut your price, you won't get enough new customers to make up for the loss, and your total revenue actually goes down. And there it is. That solves our cigarette puzzle. The price elasticity for that company was calculated to be about 0.69, and since that number is less than 1, their demand was inelastic. That massive 18% price cut was a move that was guaranteed to reduce revenue. Okay, so that's a really powerful lesson. The obvious next question is, how can you figure out beforehand if your product's demand is more like that rubber band or more like a brick? Well, there are a few key things to look for. It really comes down to 3 main things. First, substitutes. The more alternatives your customers have, the stretchier or more elastic their demand is going to be. Second, how big a purchase is it for them? Things that take a large chunk of someone's income, like a new car, tend to be more elastic. And third, time. Over the long run, demand almost always becomes more elastic because people have time to find new options and adjust their habits.
So, after all that, what's the big takeaway here? What's the new pricing superpower you can walk away with?
It's this. Understanding elasticity is not just some dusty academic theory. It is an incredibly practical tool that can transform pricing from a total guess into a calculated, powerful strategy.
And you can apply this to your own life right now. Think about the coffee you bought this morning. If the price went up 50 cents, would you still buy it every day? What if it doubled? At what price point would you switch to a different coffee shop, or maybe just start making it at home? Your answer tells you everything you need to know about your own demand elasticity.